Andre Khatchaturian with Armenian Sports News, joined today by MMA up-and-coming fighter Isaac Dulgarian.
Sure.
Isaac, how are you today?
I'm doing all right, brother. I've been training all morning. Just took some time to do this interview, but I'm doing great.
That's good to hear. Isaac, you're fighting in FAC, Fighting Alliance Championship out in Missouri, in the Kansas City area, and you've made quite a splash in your young MMA career. You're 3-0 as an amateur. None of your fights went past the first round. Then you come as a pro in the FAC, and you're 3-0 as a pro, 2 knockout wins, 1 submission victory. Again, none of your fights have gone past the first round. How does it feel to kind of just make such a quick start in your MMA career?
Man, it feels amazing just to be climbing the ladder as fast as I have. I've dedicated my whole life to training some sort of martial art, one-on-one combat. So it's finally good to see all the work I put in starting to pay off. It's amazing to see that, because I spent years and years and years not getting the attention I felt like I deserved, and now I'm here.
Now, your background in terms of combat sports, you wrestled in high school, is that correct?
Yeah, I grew up wrestling my whole life. When I was in high school, I was about 16. I started doing a little bit of MMA training. When I say a little bit, just a little bit, like on the weekends, I'd go up and train with my cousin, LC Davis. He ran a gym called HD MMA with Jason High. And I go up there and I just learned basic stuff, like learn how to kick, learn how to throw a jab. And I feel like that helped me out in the long run, because I learned the fundamentals at an earlier age, and kind of took some time away from it, but I came back to fighting, and I feel like I caught on very quickly.
So you say you took some time away from it. Was this after high school? What did you do? And what made you want to come back?
From mixed martial arts, because I was in the middle of my wrestling career. I was training wrestling, preparing for wrestling tournaments every weekend and this and that. So I didn't really have a lot of time to focus on MMA training, but I always knew that that's what I would end up doing at the end of the day.
So now you're 25 years old, and your first amateur fight was right during the pandemic last year. So it's been a pretty meteoric rise. How do you? And you've done so well. How do you kind of remain focused, not get like cocky, I guess, because of all of your success, and try to keep that razor focus for your upcoming fight on December 10th?
Yeah, man. So I've always felt like I was a dark horse, and I always was right there, right where I wanted to be. But every once in a while, I'd fall short. So I know what it feels like to lose, and in a moment that's pivotal for like your career. So it's really important to me to stay focused and to keep training hard, because I don't want to lose an MMA fight in general. I don't want to lose because I want to keep climbing the ladder. I want to be a UFC fighter, and I want to be one of the best in the world. So it's important for me to keep training, keep improving, keep getting better, whether I have a fight or not.
Now, one thing I find interesting about MMA fighters, especially up-and-coming fighters who have been very successful, just like you, is that sometimes when your fights last just one round and you get the job done and you get the W, maybe you don't really realize what your weaknesses are. Have you been able to identify some of your weaknesses and build on them despite all of your quick finishes?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm pretty good all around. I just lack the experience of a lot of the people I'm fighting. Like you said, I've only had 7 fights. I had 4 amateur fights and 3 pro fights. So I lack the experience in the cage time, but I also gained that experience through training. I train all day, every day. This is my life. And obviously the holidays are coming up. A lot of fighters are settling down. They want to be with their family and do all that type of stuff, all the holiday stuff. And I'm constantly grinding. This is what I have. This is what I know. This is what I was born to do. So I'm excited to just keep building.
That's awesome. Yeah, 4 fights in 1 year. That's pretty. It's a very active year. Not to look ahead, but what's on your, I guess, what are some of your goals for next year?
Next year, I'm hoping I got to rack up a win in December, obviously, first. But if I do that, that'll be 4 pro fights in my first 8 months as a pro. So I'll probably take a couple months, keep focusing on getting better, and then come back hopefully March around then, get my 5th fight in, and then hopefully can go to Contender Series, or maybe take a short notice and get straight in.
Right. So you're under contract right now with FAC, and you have 2 more fights left on your contract.
It's not really a contract, but I will at least fight this one there, and then if they want to move me somewhere else, they can. But I most likely will fight on FAC until I am at the place I want to be.
Cool. Yeah, no, definitely at this rate, I won't be surprised if we see you in the octagon in the UFC in no time. Now, Isaac, obviously your last name ends with an IAN. So when people see you on social media, anytime you do a post on social media, you get a bunch of Armenians with the Armenian flag emoji commenting and telling you best of luck. And talk to me a little about your Armenian heritage and, and a little bit about your family history and what you know about it.
So I mean, I don't really know a whole lot because most of my relatives that are Armenian, they've passed away. But my grandpa, he's Armenian, and from what I've been told, during the Armenian genocide, my family kind of fled to a town called Merzifon, close to Armenia, and then they left and came to Ellis Island in New York and kind of settled in New York. And I think that was in the early 1900s. I had a great uncle. His name was Isaac Dulgarian. He was a Golden Gloves boxer, pretty tough cat. And then my family, my grandparents, they kind of moved out here to the Midwest, and we've been settled down here. So that's really about all I know about it. But I feel it in my blood, man. You see it in my fight style, very aggressive. I fight just like that. And I love my Armenian fans, and they're everywhere. I always seem to run into somebody that recognizes my last name, and it's amazing that the culture that's around everything.
Yeah, that's really cool to hear. Now, your grandfather, you said, is that from your mother's side or your father's side?
My mother's side, that side of my family is Armenian. My dad's side, he's African American.
Oh, that's fantastic. And so, Armenians, they've obviously had such a history of facing, always the underdog, and you kind of resonate with that in your MMA career, as you were telling me before. You kind of look at that like Armenians have always been the underdog, and now like you're kind of the underdog. You kind of feed off that.
Yeah, man, and I see all the Armenians doing amazing in the UFC, and I feel like we're bringing more and more light to our country and everything. Everyone's doing great, man. It's amazing to see all those people building and getting better, getting wins, getting recognized. That's a big thing. And then everyone's so supportive of all of us fighters.
Have you met any of the like Edin Shahbazian or Arman Tsarukyan or any of the other Armenians?
I haven't got to meet them, but I know I will very soon.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. So Isaac, your upcoming fight, December 10, FAC 11. What can we expect from you on that night in Missouri?
Man, I'm hoping to show some more skills out of my toolbox. Most of my fights, they've ended practically the same way. I haven't got to show my true skill. So I'm hoping I get to show some more skill, but I'm also hoping for another first round finish. I like to get in, get out, get my money, and go celebrate with my family. So you'll see a lot of that. Hopefully a little bit of striking. Definitely you're going to see some elbows. I know everybody likes to see that. That's my favorite tool. So I'll definitely be using elbows, big punches, and just be prepared for violence.
That's really fantastic. Would love to see that. And as far as your fighting styles, I went back, watched all your pro fights. You're talking about winning the same way. Kind of, you're doing the takedown and then the ground and pound and then getting the finish afterwards. What else is in your arsenal that you want to show off?
Man, I'm good everywhere, man. I'm good off my back. I can get up. I feel like I can get up with anybody on top of me. My striking is high level, especially for how long I've been doing it. People seem to be shocked when I start letting the hands go. I got true power. And my ground and pound, it speaks for itself. It's terrifying. If somebody's underneath me, getting chopped up, they call me the Midwest Chopper for a reason. You're gonna feel it.
Who gave you that nickname?
It kind of just stuck. One of my buddies, he lives out in Las Vegas right now. I grew up wrestling with him, and he was just saying that that's like my fighting style. It's just that's just how I fight.
That's awesome. And one of my favorite parts from your most recent fight is you're like doing the ground and pound, going for the finish, and you kind of didn't know if the referee had stopped the fight. You take a look at the referee, he's like, "Is it done?" And then he's not signaling to give one more punch, and then he signals the fight over. What did you tell the referee after that?
Yeah, so little backstory on it. I was hitting the guy and with hard shots, so he had every right to cover up like he did, but I didn't want the fight to end already. I started and I trained 8+ weeks for this fight. I wasn't ready for it to end, so I stopped hitting him I don't know why I was thinking this, but I thought if I stopped hitting him, the ref would leave me alone and let the fight continue. But as soon as I stopped hitting him, I felt the ref creeping in, and I kind of looked up at him like, "Don't stop this fight." And he kind of like just stood there, and I was like, "Okay." And so I loaded up one more, and I hit him real hard, and the ref jumped in, and I was just like, "Come on, man! I thought you were gonna let me keep going."
That's really funny. That was a 35-second fight, 8 weeks of training for 35 seconds of work. That just shows how dominant you are, but you still want to keep fighting. That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get into any wars and nothing like that, but I wanted to. I mean, all my fans paid a lot of money. I had a full house in there, and I wanted to put on a little bit of a show. But hey, you got to take them how they come, and it's great that I got to come home healthy and injury free and not marked up. You know, I'm still pretty able to go out that night, whatever. So it was all good.
Yeah, with that kind of performances, I can sense a lot of performance of the night bonuses in the UFC in your future very soon. Now, Isaac, one last question before I let you go. We see your fighting style inside the octagon, very aggressive, very violent, very dominant. What's Isaac Dulgarian outside of the octagon?
Man, I still have that chip on my shoulder always. I carry that with pride, but I like to do a lot of things. Like I'm very crafty, man. I'm good at cooking. I'm a beekeeper. I keep bees. I have a garden. Have you ever heard like what is it? It's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. Like I try to keep my mind off of fighting and do things that other fighters are doing, because I feel like a lot of fighters, they can only fight, and I'm very versatile. I can do anything I put my mind to, and just something to find peace. You spend all these days in the gym beating up your friends, choking your friends. You got to have something to come home to bring you peace and calm. So I like to be out in nature a lot. Just deal with nature. That's home.
That's interesting. Beekeeping. That's an interesting hobby. How did you get into that?
Man, so I was in college and I read an article about bees, and I was just like mind blown by all the things that go on with bees, not only outside of a beehive, but in a beehive. And so I was broke. I probably had like $100 to my name. And to start beehives, it probably got to spend a couple thousand, So I kind of got done with college and I moved back here and started fighting. And everything started looking up. I started making money and living more comfortable. And I finally just went ahead and made that investment to go ahead and do that. And this past year was my first year beekeeping. I only got stung 7 times.
Oh, only
good. It wasn't bad. I got stung on my face once. That hurt. But yeah, I did that. Most first year beekeepers, you're not expected to have any honey, maybe 8 pounds. I ended up with 62 pounds of honey this year. I sold it to all my friends and then family and all them, and they were all extremely excited. They said it was the best they ever had. So I came from the hive like a week before I sold it. So
that's amazing.
It doesn't get any better than that, man.
So you're going to do this fight on December 10th, and I guess holiday gifts, just pack some honey and send it to all your friends and family.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome. Yep. It's a really cool gift. Very sweet gift as well.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm pretty crafty. I know how to do things. I had to learn how to do everything myself, man. So like, I'm pretty crafty. I can figure stuff out and make it work.
Isaac Dulgarian, this was fantastic getting to know you, and I'm sure we'll speak again soon. Hopefully after your fight on December 10th. Yes. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us, and thank you for being such a great representative of the Armenian community as well. You make us all proud.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate the time.